And welcome to Modern Retro, episode 29.
Hi.
Hey! I am your host, Cuba. I've been debating if I should actually use my real name on the podcast because I've been trying to market with my real name lately. It's a new big thing I'm rolling out. So I don't know. We'll
I
see.
don't know. We all call you Cuba. But so if you're trying to market with your real name, it would be confusing for all of us.
Well, because
Like, who are they talking about?
my real name is I'm joined by Aaron over there, by the way.
Hi.
There you go. No, but my real name is on the iTunes thing. It's on I think it's on just about everything. Every single episode that's published, it's on there. And then with my other business, I'm actually rebranding away from the name that I've used since I was like in high school, and I'm going to rebrand under my own name so that I can offer more and more diverse things. So I debate with myself. I'm like, should I introduce myself as my real name on the podcast?
As a podcast host, you could probably use the name that we all use for you, and then when you actually are networking or whatever you're doing, you can use your real name as the producer.
Yeah, it's funny because as the time goes on, the older we get, only you and Roy, and like a handful of people, call me Cuba now. It's the more time goes on, the less and less people even like I even know anymore.
You don't need those people in your life, okay?
That's true. Don't need them. Fuck them. I'm Cuba. Welcome to Modern Retro, episode 29. This is your Star Wars Celebration recap.
Booyah.
We are normally joined by Roy, who is not here for reasons. Even though he's
kid reasons, figuring out his phone reasons.
Right, we were supposed to record last night. We postponed a day for him to be able to make it here. Then his radiator blew, and then I was like, "Well, Skype in." And he's like, "Oh, yeah, that's a good idea. I'll call in. Like it'll be like regular radio." And I'm like, "No, it's the future. You're gonna Skype in." Because nobody wants to listen to somebody over a speakerphone.
Yeah, we could have totally had a three-way over here. A little wobbly H action with this video. Would have been fun to edit.
Yeah, sure. So, he still might join us. He downloaded Skype. I don't think he set Skype up. Roy is very much a creature of
the old ways.
Yes. I was trying to figure out how to put it delicately. He is non-technologically savvy. So,
yeah.
We'll see if he joins in on this conversation at some point. We'll see.
Yeah, we'll see.
But you and I, Aaron, we literally drove down to Celebration in Orlando.
23 hours in a vehicle. A rogue, to be... what's the term?
To be precise.
Perfectly,
To be precise.
To be precise, but also it was fitting. It was very fitting to be in a rogue.
Apropos. That's a word, right?
Sure.
Right, of all the things at Celebration that you can buy and people come back with, this kid came back with a car. He liked the Nissan Rogue that we rented for the trip so much that the day he went to return the rental, he left with the same type of car. But even better, right?
Yeah. So 2 days before we were about to take off, my car, and I've had nothing but problems with my car, which is not even that old. It's like 3 years off the lot from like a used rental place. But the latest problem with it was...
Yeah, but you don't know how many assholes went on cross-country trips with it.
Well, so the latest problem with it was it started overheating. Like, it didn't overheat. Like, it wasn't overheating completely, but it would get to the line.
It's just running
and then
hot.
kind of drop down. And then, yeah, running hot. I'm like, what the fuck? So, I had it scheduled for service, but then I was also like, oh, I should probably trade it in. It's got under 100,000 miles. Probably be a good time to look into trading it in. So once we got back from Celebration, I was like, oh, let me look at these Nissan Rogues because it fit me, which is very hard. I'm 6'6", so normally cars are just like brushing up against my head, and I don't have much leg room. So I'm like, oh, I'll check this out. So I go to the Nissan dealership to see what they have, and they got the motherfucking limited edition Rogue One Nissan Rogue sitting right there on the lot. And I'm like, it was meant to be.
In black with sunroof. All the bells and whistles?
Double moonroof.
Double
moonroof.
So, I always get confused with sunroof and moonroof. Moonroof opens or doesn't open?
So the moonroof doesn't open, but the sunroof does. So it has a sunroof and a moonroof, and it's like a double.
I get it. Okay. Yeah, my Scion had that then. All right. Yeah,
it was really cool. Shit. So we sat there for 5 hours and negotiated the fuck out of it because it turns out I got more fucked on my old car than I originally thought. So there was like... They wanted to offer me shit, and I was like, "Fuck you." And Courtney was the negotiator, the rough and tumble, like, your math and your shit doesn't make sense, sir. And I'm like, we need to stay on budget. So
stay on target.
So she's arguing the parts of the car, like, oh, you say they got the Carfax, and they're like, well, there's 3 owners, and it's been in an accident, and we don't know what accident it's been in, and it has 18 services since then, right? So we're like, oh Jesus, we got fucked. And I didn't originally know about the accident because the last place didn't disclose that, and they did some shady shit where they gave me it wasn't a Carfax, it was like a different VIN company that didn't have all of the information.
That's weird.
So they were like, oh, we'll give you $5,000 for the car, and I'm like, it's a fucking Infinity, fully loaded, like all the special features, bells and whistles, 5,000 bullshit, and 18 service things that they were trying to claim would lower the value are like oil changes. So it's like that doesn't reduce the car's value. That shows it's being serviced regularly. You fucks. So anyway, all said and done, they doubled the offer for my car, which basically paid it off anyway. And I walked away paying $50 more than I pay now, and with a brand new car that's got like 57 miles on it. So
not bad. Yeah, I liked the Rogue that we rented. It definitely was spacious. Even sitting behind you in the back seat, like I wasn't crammed. It was pretty good. I mean, if you didn't bring those creepy cat pillows, my back would have been wrecked. But like I just put that like at the small of my back, and it like helped me sit up straight. And my only complaint about the car was just the road noise. But you're not often going to be spending 17, 18 hours at a stretch in the car.
Exactly.
So, yeah, good times with that. But Star Wars Celebration, this is the 40th anniversary of Star Wars. So we bought these tickets, I think the weekend they went on sale, almost a year ago. Pretty sure. Like,
almost exactly a year ago.
Yeah, this has been like a long time in the planning trip that we didn't even plan until like a month or two ago.
Yeah, it was definitely one of those like I'm buying the tickets now. I'll figure out how to pay for it later.
Exactly. We got the 4-day pass because honestly, it was just cheaper to buy 4 days than 1 or 2 days. So we went for the first 3 days, and then on the fourth day we packed it up and went to the beach. we're in Florida, and let's take advantage of it because as soon as we got home, it's fucking cold and shitty out.
Oh,
that happens every single time I go to Florida. Every single time I go to Florida, it's always like around April, and it's always the most beautiful abnormally warm weather of like the year. Always in April. And then I leave for Florida, and it's 80 degrees here, and I come back, and the day I come back, it's always fucking goes back to rainy 40s, 50s, and shit. So every time. Like, I don't know why.
I had to sit outside in well, at least half the time I had to go sit in a softball game, and it was like, oh, I want to go back to Florida.
Yeah. Okay, and we are suddenly joined by Roy, if you couldn't tell by the loud engine noise in the background of the recording now.
Sorry, guys. It's the best I could do. The Falcon is in need of repairs, so I'm trying to limp her home.
He is legit calling from the road right now, limping his leaky car all the way back home. Is it making like the Falcon sounds, like when the hyperdrive doesn't activate? Did we lose him?
And he's gone.
Did we lose Roy?
Ugh. Fuck you.
There it is.
You know, I'm probably gonna get hit. You're probably gonna hear the sound of me roll. You know, the whole car rolling over. It's gonna be glorious. It's gonna be a glorious moment to forever immortalize on the podcast.
Yeah, podcast gold.
Is it really that loud? Is the engine noise really that loud?
Well, I mean, you can tell you're not sitting in a room. That's for sure.
Yeah, it sounds like you're in a spaceship.
Nice.
And the great thing, though, the great thing about Skype is when you're not talking, we don't hear that. It's just completely silent.
I'm sorry, fellas. I've got plans to set up my fourth bedroom as a little studio of sorts, complete with I don't have an Armenian kitchen, but I'll have the curtain and all that other stuff. Hopefully, sound dead in.
It's not an Armenian kitchen anymore. It's now like a Armenian
boudoir.
Yeah, it's an Armenian porn studio. It's a casting studio. I just don't have the couch anymore, but down here.
I like it. All right. So I don't know if you guys talked about your trip where you guys went to Celebration. What year was it? Celebration what?
2017. But I don't.
Yeah, but don't they have a number for it? Celebration 5 or whatever?
No, they don't count them. They just call them Celebration and then by the year because they don't do it every year. It's like every other year or something like that. This is like maybe the 6th one. I'm not positive.
Yeah, so the number 5 stuck out to me. I don't know why. I'm extremely jealous that you guys got to go, and my poor honky white ass couldn't get there.
Well, that's what we were just about to get into. We had said how we bought the tickets like a year ago, and we're like, we'll figure it out later. And I allocated a good amount of funds to this. We drove down because that was going to be way cheaper than buying a ticket. Because for me and my kid alone, it was about $800 round trip just to fly to Florida, which is bullshit. $800 to fly to Florida.
For a 2-hour flight.
Yeah, on a fucking tinfoil Airbus. No.
Yeah, she's like a quarter of a person, so she should be like a quarter of the price. I don't get it.
You would think so, but even for a newborn, they would charge you a full seat. It's like airlines don't fuck around.
Yeah. Well, I would have loved to have seen. I was gonna say I would have loved to have seen Cuba's lumpy head get smacked around on the seat rests. That would have been entertaining.
Oh please!
But
they tell me to get off the plane. I will gladly get off the plane and sue their ass. I don't need to stay on the plane and get an ass kicking. I will just get their money.
That's what I don't understand. As soon as nobody volunteered to get off, they should have just sweetened the pot by saying, okay, well, whoever gets off is guaranteed a spot on the next flight, first class.
That's just it. They could offer up to $1,300 plus the reimbursal for the ticket.
No, they didn't because they're greedy.
Hurry.
But so we drove down. It was 3 adults, so that made this easier and more feasible to do, as opposed to one person and one kid driving down. Because we went. I originally said we'd do like 5-hour blocks, but we just kind of went as long as whoever felt like going. Which whatever, it turned out pretty good. And man, dude, that first night we fucking marathon, fucking drove through this ugly falling apart country of ours. I mean, how many times did we get lost south of DC and like take like a U-turn off the highway or stop to get gas, and it looked like The Last of Us. There's like 6 closed gas stations.
Oh, just meth country. It gets super methy after DC.
It was like damn.
Yeah, like look at the towns that America forgot. It was just like it was almost similar to the History Channel's When Humans Go Away or whatever the fuck that was called.
Yeah,
And,
yeah,
like,
exactly.
Nature's retaking buildings and shit.
Like I said, I mean, it might as well be zombies. They're all filled up with meth. You know what I mean? It's
Well,
just
there was a
crystal
lot of
meth.
random dudes standing in the middle of the streets smoking cigarettes all over the South. I mean, almost everywhere we went, almost exclusively at night, but a few times during the day, there'd just be a dude not standing in the grass, not standing in the sidewalk, not standing off to the side of the road, just in the middle of the fucking road, taking a
Just look
drag.
for the guy on the road.
Just like,
I got your stuff.
No, and we could do a whole episode on just the shit we saw. I mean, we passed some wild pigs on the side of the highway in Georgia. I mean, wild fucking pigs. Just
And fuck celebration. The biggest thing of this trip, Wawa.
yeah, exactly. Those of you
The
who
hell's
listen,
Wawa?
oh, my friend, you need to travel more. I learned the glories of Wawa like 2 years ago, and now Aaron on this trip learned the glories of Wawa. So anybody who's listening outside of New England, and I don't think Wawa's out west. I think it's definitely like Pennsylvania down to Florida franchise. So Wawa is like the greatest fucking most convenient store there is. Like, you will find anything and everything in a Wawa. Like, you want beer? Wawa has it. You want wine? Wawa has it. You want gas? Wawa has it. You want a steak and cheese sub perfectly cooked? Wawa has it. Wawa has soups. Wawa has paninis. Wawa has healthy food. Wawa has pre-made sandwiches. Wawa has apple slices. Wawa is fucking
this is in
great.
the South.
This is like
everywhere. It's everywhere.
Okay, so
South
you know
of
when you
us.
pull up to a gas station and you're like, you walk in and like they're trying to be like a mini supermarket.
Yeah, but this is in the South.
Well, the closest Wawa I think we've ever seen, I've ever been to, was in Pennsylvania.
Oh, okay, good. I was gonna say because that sounds pretty antithetical to to meth town. What we were just saying, the rest of the meth country.
Oh no, but every Wawa is like nice and like clean and up to date. Like, they all have touch screens. You want hot food at the Wawa, you go to the touch screen. You either pick your sandwich, your panini, your soup, whatever you want. You can customize it. If you want add extra bacon, you add extra bacon. Want extra cheese, you do that all on this touch screen. Then it prints out a receipt. You go grab your beer, you go grab your grapes, you go grab your shaving cream, you go pay, and then you just stand there and wait until your food is cooked. And then they call your number, you grab it, and you leave.
You know what I'm imagining it as now? Because since we're just, I'm imagining like soft, soothing music playing, and basically in every like video game where shit goes crazy with this, zombies or monsters or whatever, you've always got like the save points where you can get like there's a merchant where you can like fuel up on resources and shit. That's Wawa. That is the save point of meth country.
I like that. I mean, I don't know if it's in all meth land, but definitely, I can see Wawa as being this. What you looking for, stranger?
Yeah, you spend your hard-earned credits from fighting meth zombies, and then you go to the local Wawa where you can get paninis.
It is the most convenient. It's wonderful. It's absolutely wonderful.
I like it. It sounds sounds mythical. I almost don't want to believe you. If you didn't have a corroborating witness, I might throw out your testimony.
If you come on a road trip with us, Roy, you will encounter the wonders of the Wawa.
That just sounds creepy.
So,
I like it.
So next time you have to go somewhere with us, but it's gonna be a while because I only cross the country like once a decade with this kid. And next year will be 10 years since we went from California to Mass. Now this last week we went from Mass to Florida and back. I'm good with another 10 years of being in the car for more than a few hours with him. As a matter of fact, I don't even want to see him right now, but I have to do it for the podcast.
You know what's next is San Diego Comic-Con. Now it's diagonally down.
That's not that far from where we started in California either.
No, no, so where we started before was across. It was like almost directly across.
No, yeah,
So
almost directly
Cindy,
across. But we did not go across. We went over. No, we went up because we went to Yosemite. Then we went way down because we went to Vegas, and then we went further down because we went to Roswell, and then we went
oh, that's right.
up all the way up to Chicago, and then diagonal back home. We fucking zigzagged that shit.
Jesus Christ. You guys been everywhere, huh?
Yeah.
All across this wonderful falling apart country of ours.
I have been to way too many states with this kid than I would care to ever be.
I can't
this
imagine
whole
what that
the whole
vehicle
vacation.
smelled.
I'm like, oh man, I wish my wife was here. Why do I go to all these states with Aaron?
And I'm like, why does Cuba keep touching my butt?
It's so big in the
Gross.
spacious Nissan Rogue. You get to spread out. Okay,
Oh.
we're going off topic with your spread out ass. So, Aaron, why were we special at Celebration this year? Why did we get to throw away? Not really throw away. Why did we not need our 4-day passes?
So the company that I work for does Star Wars product, and I told them a year ago when we bought these tickets that I would be going there. So that they should probably do something a year in advance. And I heard nothing. Radio silence until. So I gave them a 6-month warning. Hey, go in there. We want to do something. 3-month warning. Hey, we want to do something. And then they didn't figure it out until 2 weeks before we left. We should probably do something. So they ended up springing for sponsored. What was it called?
Exhibitor badges.
Exhibitor passes, which completely negated the passes that we bought in the first place. But it was good because it allowed us to get onto the floor early from 8.
Several hours earlier.
8 to whenever the fuck. The actual convention itself opened at 10 or 11 for the public, so we got to actually like traverse around and get our bearings a bit before anyone else. It's pretty sweet.
And we got to skip many a line. And I don't think, and we'll go into our thoughts about Celebration, good and bad, and what we saw and everything. I don't think I could go again without being able to skip those lines. Because holy hell. I mean, after the first day, they made it. By the way, if anybody wonders where Roy is because they don't hear the Starship Enterprise in the background, is I think we lost him. I think we lost our Skype connection with him. I don't know if
I'm right there. I'm right there, and I hear
there he is.
every fucking word you're saying. Fuck you, not lesbian fish-eating friends. I'm coming out of the booth.
Are you? It doesn't sound like you're in the car anymore. Where's your video, sir?
He probably has a piece of black tape over his over his camera, so the NSA can't see him.
You don't want video of me. Hey, can you guys hear this?
Silence?
Yeah, no.
Oh, you can't hear anything in the background when I'm talking?
Nope.
All right, good, cool. I got home. I'm in my room. Got my fish tanks going. I didn't know if I had to unplug them. All right, sorry about that.
All right, so we were able to skip so many lines with our exhibitor badges, and it definitely gives you a little bit of a power trip because we just kind of like went up to the line and was like exhibitor, and they're like, okay, you can go, except for a few select things. For the major panels, you needed wristbands, and no, the exhibitor pass didn't help with that. Apparently, the magic pass would be the media badges when it came to those ones.
Which, if we do this again, hopefully this podcast is bigger and we can media badge it up.
Oh, I would absolutely love to do that. To get in with some equipment and some media badges. I didn't do too much for the podcast while we were there because it's a vacation and I'm trying to make sure a little kid I'm trying to make sure my kid didn't get trampled or run off.
Just a kid that you found.
Hey, no,
I said my kid. I was just trying to be like, hey, little kid, this little one over here. No. I brought my daughter, obviously, and that was the focal point of it. And if I took my eyes off of her,
bought a child when you were down there.
no, those are a dime a dozen. But
That's a Hasbro booth.
In meth country, life is cheap.
yeah.
Mhm.
If I wasn't like on top of her, she would have been trampled by the crowd or ran off with one of the 20 BB-8s rolling around. So, next time she'll be older, and we'll see. But yeah, media badge would be great. But our exhibitor badge is awesome because we got to go on the floor, like we said before anybody else, and that is the prime time. That's when they let the VIPs onto the floor too before the main crowd comes. So we got to quietly look at everything that was out on the floor, all the cool exhibits, all the vendors and stuff like that, which was great. And before the crowd like just literally rushes in, because once 10 o'clock when it opens, it's like I can't even describe it. It was just like the clock turns 10 and you look to your right down the hallway and you just see a wave of nerds just coming your way, and it's like,
It's like
brace
your
yourself.
Simba in the middle of that friggin' trench with all the ox running through.
Yeah. Just like, hold on to something. But man, I mean, I'll describe Celebration this way. Overwhelming. It really was overwhelming, especially on day one. It was sort of half-ass organized, especially on day one, to the point where they issued an apology on day two because they only had one entrance open for like everybody, so it wrapped like around the building twice or something stupid like that. They weren't clear about needing the wristbands for the panels, so the VIPs, if you bought VIP tickets, which is like you emptied your life savings for the fucking VIP tickets and airfare and hotel. If you did
How
that.
much
They were
do you
like
know? Do you know roughly how much that was?
each.
Yeah, $700 a piece.
Yeah.
On top of
Jesus
airfare,
Christ.
on top of hotel, on top of food. So that's Aaron has a buddy that we met down there who's doing the VIP experience, and Aaron not being happy with anything he ever has, having the exhibitor badge, having more access than most people, being able to cut most lines, is constantly on his phone going, but he's at this panel, and he's getting to do this. And I'm like, dude, stop looking at your phone.
Well,
don't live through that, kid. It's like you can cut the lines.
Like you said, the major panels needed wristbands, and obviously the first two panels, which was the 40th anniversary panel, which was the very first one, and the Last Jedi panel, sold out immediately within like the first 5 seconds.
Because people were camping out like at 8 o'clock at night, and then at like midnight they would let them in, right, or something like that.
Yeah, they just like counted them on like one of those clickers, and then once it was already sold out at midnight.
Yeah, so I mean, you stood no chance for those first two big panels.
I'm a tremendous Star Wars fan, always have, always will be, but even I just want to I just that makes me want to be like, fucking losers. You know what I mean? Like, oh, you're a bunch of nerds.
I definitely wouldn't camp out. No way in hell. And all those panels are on YouTube now, so I don't really care about missing them. The panels we did see, I'm glad that we got into them, but they weren't that hard to get the wristbands for. We didn't have to camp out for them. So I mean, with the panels that we did see was what do we see? We saw
So the VIP pass lets you just go in. You can just go into any panel. You didn't need a wristband. So my buddy was posting pictures of like, the Mark Hamill tribute to Carrie Fisher, and he was like in aisle 2 with like a close up of the seat that he's going to sit in. So he's basically like right in front of Mark Hamill and all this stuff. Like, you motherfucker, like, you son of a bitch. So I mean, like, I was thankful for what I got, but I mean, I definitely wanted to get into some of those major panels to begin with.
Yeah, but that's where you and I differ. You need to get into the panels. Like I didn't care. I didn't care that much. The panels that I wanted to get into, I got into. I kind of didn't expect to get into the bigger panels, but then also you fucking you used your Yeti powers to just go way ahead of
Jedi?
everybody. You
His
should have
Jedi powers.
Jedi. You should have seen this kid because once he got like he's like, we need to get those wristbands. He's half a mile ahead of us, and me, the two kids, and his wife to be are sitting there, or not sitting there, but we're walking, and she's like, Aaron. And he doesn't even fucking turn around. He's just beelining it right to the wristbands. I'm like, he doesn't give a shit if we don't get in as long as he gets his wristband.
Well, it came down to like I paid to go to this fucking thing. I'm getting into these goddamn things. I'm getting the most out of this friggin' convention.
Right,
and
but you're leaving your family behind, kid.
No, I had a Coda, the youngest one. She kept up with me.
Not every time. Not every time. Fine, you should. So you and a Coda, and then it's like I'll be there with your woman. I was gonna say I'll stick it with your woman, but that wouldn't come out right.
He stuck to the code. Whoever fell behind got left behind. You know, he cut that fucking rope. You guys were on your own.
And this is also a work vacation because of the exhibitor badges and everything like that. We had to promote the Star Wars sunglasses that his company has, and
so that's the hook.
That was the hook. Really? But also, I did more than him. We had.
You say that, but I mean, like, there's circumstances, man. So we had these cards that I made up.
My ass.
And this is, I mean, it's pretty much exclusive to the podcast because you're not going to hear it anywhere else. But if you go to fostergrant.com and you type in code word celebration at checkout, you get 40% off the box set Star Wars sunglasses, right? So I made up these cards. We're passing them out day to day, but I'm a 6'6" dude. No one's, and I'm like holding them. People aren't approaching me. I had Cuba's daughter like down next to me. She's handing them out. She's handing out more than I am because I'm handing them out, and they're like, nope, I don't, nope. Oh, like, or afraid to come near me because I'm freaking gigantic.
That's not it. It's you have this,
pretty ugly.
Besides that, you have this giant puss face because you don't want to be doing that. You want to be.
It's not true at all. I was smiling the whole time. I was like, hey.
You wanted to be doing something else. I'm sitting there, and he's right in the main entry doorway as people are coming in. So I don't even know how he's
fucking people. He's playing fucking goalie.
I don't even know how he's not getting the numbers. So I'm like maybe 10 feet behind him, and then diagonal, I'm getting the people coming from another direction. And I'm running out of these fucking things. I'm sitting there. I'm everybody, like, waves of people are coming at me. I'm handing out 2 or 3 at a time to families.
Yeah, you want to know why, Cuba? We were in Florida. Okay, they're used to just Spanish people standing around handing them things.
Most of the people there aren't from. Everyone there is from Florida. And people, dude. You even said you were just handing them to people. I was telling people, I was like, hey, 40% off Star Wars sunglasses. 40% off. I'm giving them the information. I saw your wife fucking do the sales pitch to a couple of vendors, and I used her sales pitch, and I fucking did your job for you, man.
No, I was doing the exact same thing because people would like come near me, and I'd hold it out like with a smile, and they'd be like, ugh. And then I'd be like, 40% off Star Wars sunglasses, and they're like, no. And I'm like, you're in Florida. What do you mean? No?
I had so many people going, whoa, cool, great. And then like people would come to me because they see that I was handing out something to other people.
You know what? That happened too. You just did it faster than I did.
I do agree with Aaron on this. I got to side with him because you've got a pretty girl with, quite frankly, a big rack. You've got 2 cute, younger kids, probably very earnestly handing out cards. Hey. You've got a authentic looking Cuban Hispanic dude who just probably fits right the fuck in with the populace.
We're not in the overly Hispanic part of Florida. It's Orlando.
If you're not handing out cards, you're handing out oranges.
and then you've got a 7-foot tall, dour looking man child. Just
I wasn't dour looking.
You have a natural dour looking face.
Yeah, you always now.
You just look like you always look into like you bit into something really sour. Always. Like you just bit something into something and you don't know if you like the taste or not. You're like, So that's like your natural relaxed face. That's okay. I look like I'm about to murder somebody. Everybody always asks me,
"Oh, that's
hey,
true."
Adam, what's your problem? I just have a naturally heavy brow and dark eyebrows and dark eyes, so I just look like I'm always ready to. I look like a school shooter or something.
If he was there handing them out, I think security would have tackled him.
Yeah. Well, I would have been approaching every big titty broad I seen. Hey, want some sunglasses? Blah 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 blah. But
Roy would have been
it
beaten to
just
death by the Mandalorians that were protecting the slave Leia photo shoot.
I would have snuck my way in.
They had that locked down pretty tight.
I would have salicious crumbed my way right on in there.
You see, exactly. Oh man,
what is it?
That's to be the
monkey?
cover photo for this episode. I have to find that slave Leia shoot and then like find a picture of Roy laughing and like Photoshop it onto the Jabba's shoulder.
So recap, Cuba. What happened in these panels here? So we got the 40th anniversary panel, which was the big opener.
I was only going to talk about the ones that we actually attended because all the other ones you can just fucking go see online.
Okay. Well,
so then, what did you guys personally?
I want to talk about the 40th anniversary one because it was cool as far as like. So they brought out George Lucas. We haven't seen this guy since I don't even remember when.
2012 when he sold it to Disney and went into a cave.
Exactly. So like, holy shit, they got George Lucas. Then you had Hayden Christensen.
No,
like,
he wasn't. Was he there? That was a different day. Dude, you fucking dying? Nope. Oh, I forgot. You got the con flu.
Yeah, I got the con scum.
What the hell? Okay, not even gonna ask.
Cold now.
I heard that Hayden Christensen actually got a really big applause, like, not quite a standing ovation, but the crowd really went nuts for him.
Yeah, he hasn't been to a con since like 2002.
Can you fucking blame the guy?
Yeah, exactly. So seeing him, you're like, holy shit. So it's almost like this 40th anniversary convention almost solidified the past with the new. It was like everything, all the pieces are coming together, and there's no longer the hate for there's hate for the prequels, but like it's not like it's still in George Lucas's hands. We're gonna hate it. It's like Disney's working. They're doing a good job. We can appreciate the past now, and hopefully they'll integrate it into the new future and make it relevant again. So it just seemed more cohesive. It felt like a family. It felt like the family you haven't seen in a long time. And the last time you met, it wasn't quite the best. You got drunk. You hit on your aunt or something like that.
It was the Thanksgiving after Trump got elected, and it was awkward stares and conversations.
But no, it was cool. Then they had John Williams come out, and he did a...
that was probably the biggest surprise of that first big panel, was nobody was expecting John Williams to come out of the corner with a full orchestra and perform several songs. Yeah. So that was cool.
That's sweet. Harrison Ford was there, and Lando Calrissian.
Yep, Lando was there. The whole thing was hosted by Warwick Davis. He was like kind of like the celebration grand marshal, I would say, because he was like the host of like most of the major panels, and the first one, the closing out one, several others, and fun story is I was going up the escalator at one point. There's to the second level. And he zooms by me going into an elevator, and a tiny little Segway. I didn't know they made Segways that small. It was adorable.
Then, like the second major biggest panel was the Last Jedi one with the trailer, and we didn't actually get into that one, but we got to stand on the floor by Star Wars Live, the Star Wars show live. And the fucking crowd was insane. Yeah, so not only did it fill the main auditorium, the two auditoriums that were streaming it, but the floor was just insanely packed.
Yeah, I had to go stand way, like all the way in the back, literally against the wall, temporary wall set up for one of the vendors. And then I had to prop my kid up on one of the cafeteria chairs so she could see. And then we could see the tiny little fucking screen that was completely inadequate for the size of the crowd that was trying to watch it on the floor. And I'll be honest, like I didn't hear a goddamn thing. I couldn't hear what they were talking about the entire panel. And then the trailer, yeah, it was cool. I honestly didn't even really see it until yesterday, like that, because they showed it twice, and it's like, oh, okay, visually, I think what I'm seeing is cool. I can't hear it, and then I think later on in the car or something we watched it, but it's still like sun glare and stuff. So I cast it from my computer onto my TV yesterday, when you were asked about it, Roy. Actually, I'm like, you know what? I haven't given this thing like a full on viewing yet. So, 4 days later is when I finally saw the fucking trailer.
Did you
Yeah,
guys
so,
want to get into what you thought about what you guys thought about it, or do you want to wait until a little later?
I mean, it's a Star Wars trailer. They give you
It was-
just enough to
yeah,
get
it
excited.
was a teaser. It's the beginning of the avalanche of too much information that will be coming. I
So we
think,
stop after the second trailer, and then we'll go into the movie fresh.
yeah, exactly.
See, that's the thing is, I thought they gave this was the perfect trailer. They showed you just enough. You know what I mean? Like a lot the way the Force Awakens one, the very first trailer, and then like you guys said, the second trailer, it showed way too fucking much, and you kind of you know what I mean?
No, I think the
I
first
think
trailer
this was on par with the second trailer of the Force Awakens, because like the first trailer was very vague for the Force Awakens, and the second one gave you like this type of a trailer where the story was sort of implemented, but it didn't give you really any information.
Right.
You know, you're right. The first one, I guess you would for the Force Awakens, you would kind of classify as like I split them up as teasers, which are very very short, and then you've got your first like this was like a more of a trailer, not quite a teaser. It was what a minute and a half long, 2 minutes.
Something like that, yeah.
I mean, I think a trailer length is somewhere around 2. Anything shorter than that is,
And you asked me, Roy, yesterday, like what I felt about it, and I don't feel anything negative about it, besides the fact that they changed Kylo Ren's scar, and I read that it's because the director just thought it was silly the way it was. I'm like, too fucking bad, guy. That's how he got cut. It's just like, doesn't matter if you think it's silly. You should have been vetoed on that point. But besides that,
his face almost got cut apart. Like
right,
it should have
exactly.
been.
They moved it from across the center of the face to like just like Anakin over the eye, and I'm like, and it was way too thin. It was like a pencil thin
Yeah,
scar.
it should have been like a straight up burn scar, like
Yeah.
just crazy, like
I
insane.
read a lot of funny things online. People saying like, well, he got into a Bacta tank and then healed it, and then he cut himself so he looked more like his grandfather.
What I think they should have done is that eye should have no longer been usable. Like he couldn't see and it couldn't be recovered. So then he has to have some sort of
Cybernetic eye.
Cyborg guy.
yeah, cybernetic, but of course it would be red, and there's your connection to the Sith. Even though he's not an actual Sith, he still somehow ended up with some sort of a red eye like the Sith would. Even though it's not Sith.
Yeah, I feel so much more could have been done with that. We'll see when the movie comes. But when you asked me yesterday like how I feel about the trailer, I don't feel anything negative about it. Like I don't think it was a bad trailer. I don't think it's going to be a bad movie. But for some weird reason, I'm not excited about it. I don't know why. I just like I think it's with The Force Awakens. It's like, whoa, this is the first new Star Wars. We never thought we were going to get new Star Wars again, so this is exciting. This is fucking crazy. What is this story? What happened in these 30 years? Now this one is like, yeah, I want to know what Luke's been up to. I want to know what comes next for Rey and Finn and all these characters. But I'm not excited about this for some reason. I'm not overly giddy. I got way more excited about the trailer for Rebels Season 4 than I did for The Force Awakens. And I don't know if it's just because the mystery is... There is no aura of mystery around this new movie. Like, again, we don't know what is going to happen. It's still all uncharted Star Wars territory. But I'm especially after Rogue One, I've fallen more into Roy's camp, where I see more of the flaws in The Force Awakens, and I feel Rebels and Rogue One did a way better job at Star Wars.
It was so much fucking better than Force Awakens was. I told you that.
Right, like, and Force Awakens isn't bad. It's still a good movie. But
yeah, it's not terrible. But like I said, when you're starving, even something that's normally not, anything tastes good when you're dying of thirst.
Right.
You know what I mean?
I don't know if this is like biases because I am so much more partial to the original trilogy. I just love that era, and then the more time goes on, the more I don't like how things did not change as much by the time of The Force Awakens. Like, why are they still using X-Wings? Why are they using A-Wings? Why did the First Order? Why are they still using TIE fighters?
Come on, man. They changed the colors though.
I know,
Come on,
I know,
man.
I get it, but it's like, in Return of the Jedi, we were introduced to the TIE Interceptor. That was the future of the TIE fighter. So logically, the First Order would take that design and improve upon it. But instead, we just get black TIE fighters.
That's because The Force Awakens is just a rehash of the other movies.
I know, and that's what makes me afraid for this one. Maybe that's why I'm not excited, because it's like, are we just going to get the Empire Strikes Back light? I
don't think so.
Is that because even in the trailer when they show like the weird speeders kicking up the red dust, which is like, wow, did you even copied your X-wing shot from the last movie? In the background of that scene, you see walkers off in the distance. It's like, are these the same fucking walkers that the Empire used 30 years ago, or do these ones have like 5 legs? It's
I don't know. We'll see. Because I'm almost wondering, like, does Hasbro have like a say in what gets shown in the movies? Because they like show a concept of like, we could sell this toy, put it in the movie, kind of thing. But
you have a friend at Hasbro, and that's a story that we also have to tell of this celebration. But maybe you can ask him that. Maybe we can get him on this podcast and ask him that.
We'll see. So, what was I going to say? You fucked me up. Oh, the director. The director of this movie did Looper, and Looper was really good.
Yeah, Looper was a great movie. Definitely.
Well,
So
the director
what?
the director also said early, a while ago, that people who were upset that The Force Awakens was just kind of the same old hat, that they'll be surprised with this movie because he's going to do weird things that haven't been done in Star Wars. He said that he was going to do different things. So, and that's when that piqued my interest. That's what piqued my interest. I said, okay, well, and one thing that I found kind of interesting is that I don't believe in this trailer we saw, like, we didn't see any aliens. It was a teaser kind of. So we didn't see anything new except for the big drop when apparently Luke says something. And I'm not even convinced that's Luke.
It's Luke.
Who says it?
It's definitely Luke. I've read transcripts. It's Luke.
Oh, it is?
Yeah.
God damn. Well, then again, I mean, they also have been known to use misdirection like they did in Rogue One. So I'm in this weird.
none
You
of
can't
these
count
scenes are
Rogue.
actually
You
gonna
can't
be in the
count Rogue
movie.
One. I mean, they filmed the entire movie and then went back and refilmed the entire movie.
Well, no, even The Force Awakens had that scene where Kylo Ren throws out the lightsaber, ignites it close to the camera, and you see Rey and Finn in the background. They
Yeah, but
didn't have
that was just an alternate scene. That wasn't something,
They should've
half
kept
of
it.
Rogue One was just all completely reshot. So I mean,
Yeah.
Speaking of the 3D Blu-ray Super Edition comes out on May 4th.
of Rogue One.
Yeah. So we don't have too long to wait to actually get some goddamn deleted scenes.
Where are your sources? I haven't read this. You lying to me, boy?
BestBuy.com.
Okay, great. Because I'm so that's different from the one that just came out like 2 weeks ago.
Yes.
Why the fuck would you do that? I mean, I understand waiting till Christmas to release the better version, but why wait a month?
May the 4th. They needed something for May the 4th.
That's bullshit, dude. That's an even better one better not come out at Christmas time.
Of course it will. Come on, man. It'll have that smell-o-vision that Aaron loves so much.
Ooh. Smell-o-vision couch.
So the panels that we got into in response to everything being sold out, we got into the heroines panel, which was basically the female empowerment of Star Wars characters, which was pretty sweet.
It was it was definitely a good panel, and there was a good surprise in it because we got the speakers were Ashley Eckstein, who's Ahsoka. I forget the actress's name, but she does the voice of Sabine, and then Daisy Ridley came out as a surprise. So that was pretty cool. Yeah.
It was weird too because the moderator Amy something or other was
Amy Ratcliffe was the moderator on
Amy
that
Ratcliffe was she's talking to Daisy Ridley and Daisy Ridley's smiling like, hey, I'm glad to be here, whatever. They handed out these new Hasbro toys, which are like Force of Destiny, which are basically like action figure Barbies. So she's like, "Oh, these are so cool," and they were talking about how
They're talking about that new series. It's a new series of shorts of like
by
all the
Ghostbot,
eras.
the people who used to do the Esurance commercials, like that were like spy related. That company's doing these new animated 2D shorts with all the different.
But and they showed us the first one, and it was cool. I liked it. I dig it.
I like that. I see. That's one thing. That's one reason I can't get. I like the first season of Rebels, and I've watched, an episode here or there on YouTube or whatever. Like I watched, Maul get. Well, I don't know how far you are, so I don't want to use spoilers.
I'm not there.
They already spoiled it in the panels.
That's what I was gonna say. I shut my mouth. But
so,
like, I can't get over the bobblehead animation. I never liked it from the very beginning. They have refined it and they've made it better. It's not nearly as bad as it used to be.
Yeah, but it's just like Clone Wars. The story surpasses any problem with the animation in Rebels.
For me, it did with Clone Wars towards the end, but Rebels, it doesn't. I don't know why.
It will. It's same problem. Like the first season is setting it up, and then as it goes, it gets better and better and better.
Yeah, like Rebels is so. The first season of Rebels is good but weak, and then man,
Space Aladdin.
Starting with season 2, it fucking takes off. It is the most Star Wars property out there. I love it. I absolutely love Rebels. Just seeing the building of the rebellion is fantastic.
It just didn't grab me, and I think it's personally. Again, this is just purely personal aesthetics. I'm not a fan of that animation style. I really, really liked the 2D animation style of the guys who did Samurai Jack. For the, I can't remember. Did they just call it?
They just call it the Clone Wars micro series.
That's right. That's right.
So
I really love that.
These Ghostbot animations are definitely done in Flash, so they're not the best, but they're still pretty sweet.
No, they were good. They're good. I dig it. Now, the only thing I didn't quite get about the Forces of Destiny was, does it only focus on the female characters, or are they going to tell other tales?
I think they're going to tell other tales because the toys that they gave out were the girls on the floor, but if you went down to the Hasbro booth, they had like a bunch of different characters.
Yeah. I don't care either way. I think either way it'll be good. I was just curious. I mean, it makes sense because they focused. It was like, it was the heroines of Star Wars panel, so it makes sense to focus on the shorts of the heroines. But I wasn't sure if it was only the heroines of Star Wars that were going to be featured in these shorts.
Yeah, but they got all the actual actresses and actors, actresses for sure, to actually star in the 2D. So you have Daisy Ridley's voice, you have that chick who played Jyn or so, Felicia something, and it looks pretty sweet.
Someone else.
What was
Felicity.
What was funny?
Felicity. Yeah.
So Daisy Ridley's out there just like talking, happy to be there, and then Amy goes, "Okay, well, thanks, Daisy," and she's like, Am I going? You're like, I think so. She goes, okay, bye. Just like walks away.
There's a little miscommunication going on there. Yeah, who knows? Who knows? Like if she had she probably doesn't know where she has to be that whole time. And she was only there for the first 2 days, I think, too. So
yeah,
I'm sure there's a lot to do. Like maybe she had to get to like the autograph section or something like that. But that was a cool panel.
The thing I like about her is that you can tell that in real life
she's excited about it. She's just
like, well, not only that, but she's goddamn adorable. You know what I mean? Like you could tell that she's got that like awkward, like, but like Aaron just said, excited to be there.
Yeah.
Like she's new. She's sort of new at it, I guess you could say, like for such a huge role, and she's just happy to be there. She's excited and earnest, and you can see like which am I going to here? Am I going to hit? You know what I mean? You can see like older actors like Harrison Ford just being like, fuck it.
Yeah, Harrison Ford. Harrison Ford was sick of it with Empire. But John Boyega's the same way. He's super excited to be there and all giddy and everything like that. It's cool to see that excitement. Same thing with most of the cast of Rebels. Hearing Freddie Prinze Jr. talk, he's super excited to be part of Star Wars. Again, I am blanking on her fucking name, but the girl who does the voice of Sabine is very excited to and she's wicked nervous. Dave Filoni, like, totally, you can tell, totally intimidates her.
What was funny in that heroines panel too was like the Amy chick was like, and we have a special surprise for all of you here. You get toys, and like handed the toys out to all the girls, and Dave Filoni's like, "Where's my toy?"
Yeah, he's like, I don't see a little guy with a cowboy hat.
You said everyone gets a toy. And then like they went back to like talking to him about like, creating characters that females can look up to, and they're like, "Oh, do you have any sad stories or whatever?" He's like, "Well, yeah, this one time I was sitting on stage and they said that they were going to give toys out to everyone, and they didn't give one to me." It was a freaking riot.
See, if there's any person that I really wanted to meet there, it's actually Dave Filoni. I would, if I understood the autograph thing better, I probably would have gotten in line for an autograph with him, or if I captured him in the hallway or something like that, because and maybe the older generation has George Lucas, and we complain about George Lucas a lot on this podcast and a lot on the previous podcast, but you got to give the man credit that he created Star Wars, so he's got that. He's not the best writer, but it's fucking George Lucas. But Dave Filoni, to me, he is carrying the torch of Star Wars. He was like the personal protege of George Lucas. He was his Padawan. Lucas taught him everything that he knew, and Filoni now took that, and he's not directing the movies, but what he's doing with all the animation, him and Pablo Hidalgo, who's like the head of the story group, which keeps everything canon, those two guys are steering Star Wars. Whatever happens in the movies, they have a huge role in it too, especially when it came to Rogue One. So many.
Yeah, they're either setting up the story or they're playing the role of the writers to weave it all in together.
Exactly. And what's so cool about it, as I said to you, Roy, the other day, was that in this era of Star Wars that we're in, I think I love this era more than any other era of Star Wars, because it's finally in the hands of the fans. All these things, even Star Wars Battlefront 2, we went to that panel, and there's some cool information, and the game looks cool and legit from what we've seen. It's just we've all been burnt by EA so much that I'm just like, I'm still not buying it.
So,
this everything right now is being made by the fans. The people who made that game, huge fans. They're all from all over the world. One of them was from Germany. He even showed on the big projector screen his 1984 German Jedi fan club card. That's how much of a fan this dude was. So Filoni's a fan. Hidalgo's a fan. All these people are fans, and they're all now making Star Wars. They are, and that's the coolest thing to me. That is George Lucas was not a fan of Star Wars. It was different from him. He created it.
He was a dictator. He was the North Korea of Star Wars.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I understand. It's like his baby. It's like what he wants is what he wants. He viewed Star Wars more as a project, a continuous work of art. He wasn't a fan of it. He didn't grow up with it like everybody.
He didn't live in the world.
Yes, now everybody is like, I lived these stories via book, video game, comic books, movies, and now I have a chance to play in this sandbox. And that's what I think is so cool about this. And that's definitely what I've taken away from all these panels at Celebration, is that it's finally in the hands of the fans, where I think Star Wars belongs.
So some of the other panels we went to was the music of Rogue One. My stepdaughter is huge into music. She's a pianist, so we wanted to check this one out. And I wanted to go because Rogue One is touted as the least best of the Star Wars soundtracks, because it's not by John Williams. It's the first time we don't have a John Williams score. So we watched this. What's his name?
David Collins.
David Collins. He basically had a one-man show
Well, to frame it, he has a podcast on Rebel Force Radio called Star Wars Oxygen, where once a month, him and one of the hosts of that podcast, for the last 3 years, they've been going through the Star Wars saga from the beginning, analyzing and breaking down the music of John Williams. And I've listened to almost all the episodes, and it is just fucking fascinating. I know nothing about music. I can't carry a fucking beat to save my goddamn life. And
No, you cannot.
Thank you, Roy. And the stuff I learn from him on these podcasts about John Williams and about the way he conducts the music, he creates the music, the super, super subtle things, it's amazing. I mean, I don't want to... I'm not saying go listen to a rival podcast, but then we're not even in the same league. Go to Star Wars, go to Rebel Force Radio and look up Star Wars Oxygen. You'll be blown away. I always come away with a new appreciation for every aspect of Star Wars music, more so than I already had by listening to his podcast.
It felt like I watched a Star Wars presentation presented by Neil deGrasse Tyson. It was just super informative, and he went down to like
deep.
the science of it. Yeah, he goes deep with it, and you're like, oh fuck, like holy shit, that. And he brought some information about the soundtrack. You can probably find the panel on YouTube, but it goes into like the specifics of like storytelling and why Rogue One is music is good, and kind of the
it's very subtle. It's very subtle, and he brought to like I said, I'm like you said, and I said while we were there, I'm like, yeah, fuck it, I can't remember any music from Rogue One, but then he breaks down the theme, and and then he shows you the theme throughout the movie, like in clips, and you go, oh shit, wow, there is a theme there, and then he even shows the composer. How the composer brought in very, very subtle things, like these little fucking horns that are in A New Hope that apparently like carry the mission of the Death Star plans musically, and they're just like a little like quick little fucking horns that you don't even fucking notice until he brings it to your attention. You go, whoa, mind fucking blown.
See, he did that a couple of times. Like he'd drop a bomb and then he would go.
There was one thing about Rogue One. The music, it wasn't bad. The music, I remember when we did a review on it, the music was never bad. It just didn't feel, until it touched on the nostalgia of the OT, it didn't feel memorable. You know what I mean? Like in my head, I still can't pick out a piece. Only the ones that actually had those callbacks.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, like I said, like this guy goes into it, and
is it true that he had a really small time frame to do this in?
Yeah, I think it was like 4 weeks or something.
Yeah, I read that usually you have, a year to put together, or 6 months to put together the orchestra soundtrack for a movie, and this guy did it in like under a month.
Yeah.
So that's pretty incredible. I mean, the guy gets serious props. Props.
He did Up too, apparently.
So that was day 1 and day 2, and then the major one we wanted to see was Rebels, and Cuba was like, well, I don't think we're gonna get wristbands at all. We're not gonna get wristbands. Because that was the major panel
of that day.
I'm waking up at 5. If you're not up, you're not up. But I'm fucking waking up at 5. You can take an Uber. I'm getting those goddamn wristbands. So.
That was one of the ones where he was a mile ahead of us.
So was it you just show up the earliest, like early bird gets the worm?
Pretty much.
Show up, you get the...
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So we get there. We got the wristbands for the ones we wanted, which is Rebels and Battlefront, the major panels for that day, and Rebels was the first one we saw, which was really cool. They kind of like. It was long-winded in the beginning because they were giving away stupid shit and wasn't ready for the panel in general. But
we got there
they
like 40 minutes early.
Yeah, but they they discussed a lot of how we got to this point, like all of season 3, and that season 4 is going to be
about spoilers.
Yeah, totally spoiler.
Okay, spoiler warning.
Spoiler warning. So, basically. Dave Filoni got up there and said, we're doing season 4. It's going to be crazy. It's going to be amazing. And I'm definitely
dark.
It's going to be dark. And I know the pain of when a series ends and you don't have the say. So season 4 is going to be the last season of Rebels. He didn't announce.
Goddamn.
He didn't announce what's next.
But he said there's something next.
There's something next, and his shirt changed when the lights went off.
Right, when the live stream went off. When the live stream went off, they showed the trailer, and then the lights came back on, and they're like, "Oh, we're gonna show the trailer like one more time, guys." And he's like, "Goodbye, everybody in the live stream." And then the trailer went again, and when lights came back on, so he's wearing a t-shirt, black t-shirt that says "Ahsoka lives" with a question mark under it. And then when the lights came on the second time, the t-shirt said "Ahsoka lives" with an exclamation point under it. And he didn't reference it at all. He's just like completely like just casual about it, which is great.
Easter egg in it.
Absolutely.
But we got to see the first episode of season 4 before it airs in like 8 months, so that was pretty sweet.
Yep. Which spoiler, Bo-Katan is back.
Yeah. It was...
Nothing, Roy. Nothing from you. No. Did you even get that far in Clone Wars?
In Rebels, no.
No, in Clone Wars.
Wait, who did you say?
Bo-Katan from the Mandalorian episodes.
No, man. I hopped around because a lot of that shit.
Fired!
Dude, come on.
Throw my shit down.
That Clone Wars.
One of the people that they're bringing into season 4 is Thrawn's Imperial Guard there or whatever.
Yeah.
What's his name? Rook.
They said it's apparently Timothy.
Are they actually Nogri?
I'm assuming. I mean, they said it's
some
him
species we've never seen before, so
plucked from the EU. And according to Filoni, Timothy Zahn said that it's pronounced Rook. he was like, that's what Tim said. I always just called him Rook.
Yeah, well, we don't have Nogri throats, so
yeah.
He's like a Hebrew.
So yeah, he's
so
being
that definitely means they're bringing as much EU as they possibly can because they've all grown up with the Thrawn trilogy and
that was
how much they love that whole thing.
That was the only thing I didn't like about Zahn is that he always tried to make his stuff sound too exotic. Like one of his in the Thrawn trilogy, nobody knows how to pronounce any of the shit. It's not like Coruscant where you can kind of sound it out.
So you're kidding me? For the first 10 years of its existence, I called it Coruscant.
Yeah, well, I mean, but that's close enough. But was it Myrkyr, Myrkyr or some shit?
Right.
That's one of the planets. Yalsel Miri. I don't even know if that's how you pronounce it.
I think it's
the creatures that repel the Force.
Yeah.
Nogri. Like you never know how to pronounce any of the shit.
His books are kind of hard to read.
Remember Luke with the clone Luke
with two Ks.
Two U's.
Luke.
So you had Luke. Yeah, you had Luke and Luke. I don't know. Just his shit was hard to. It was fun, but it was kind of. He made it too exotic. It was a product of the early '90s, late '80s.
He had a panel too. We didn't get to it. Like I said, the Celebration was over fucking whelming. Like we're going on an hour right now talking about it. We're not even halfway done talking about our fucking experiences because god damn. Like I said, Timothy Zahn had a panel. We didn't get to that. Yeah, I watched some droid racing. There was there was a lightsaber training. There's Disney Parks panel. There was board games. There was the droid room. There's so much shit. Aaron went to Hasbro panel. You want to give some
before we roll
on
into that, I'll do a quick sum up. So. Season 4, we were speculating, what's going to be after Season 4 of Clone Wars, and I said I wanted to see after Return of the Jedi. I wanted to see some shit that was canon after Return of the Jedi. Next panel we go into is Battlefront, and they announce a first-person campaign. Exactly that. It's going to single-player campaign, and you get to see from Endor the Death Star explode, and it's all from the point of view of the Empire. And I don't know if there's the creative director or whatever, but he's you could definitely tell he's an Empire fan. He's
yeah, definitely, yeah. He was the story director or something like that, yeah. So it's supposed to be from the point of view of Inferno Squad, like an elite Imperial Special Forces team that I guess you could. They're kind of like Roy. They're kind of like Wraith Squadron from the old X-wing books because they can pilot, they can fight on the ground, they can do spec ops,
sabotage and
yeah,
infiltration.
exactly. It's like the Imperial version of that. And I
Okay.
guess the main character you play as, yeah, she's so loyal to the Empire because her point of view, she comes from a planet that's very prosperous under the Empire and isn't oppressed under the Empire. So that's the story that they wanted to tell. It's like they're like, oh, you always see the people who are being like under the heel of the Empire, who are fighting the Empire because the Empire didn't treat them right. What about the people who like the Empire because the Empire never did anything wrong to them? I'm like, that's
They're the
an
1%,
interesting enough
the
concept.
1%.
Exactly, yeah. It's the 1% of the galaxy.
So seeing the Death Star explode again, like, doubled her resolve, and you get to see all that. So I'm psyched for that. I'm like, I'm hyped. I'm super hyped for that game because it looks like they took all the criticisms that the first one had, and you know as much as I do, that had a lot of criticisms, and well worth it. They're adding in classes, they're adding in customization. Not only can you customize your characters, but you can customize your ships, make those like your own.
You can
No
customize
deal.
the hero classes.
You can customize the hero classes. They did away with the season pass, I think, because everyone was super pissed off about that. Hopefully they do something where like it's not DLC dependent like EA wants it to be, I'm sure. But
Yeah, but they already announced DLC on day one, and they got so many fucking boos. So many boos.
So the audience went boos.
And you can tell even the guy who's in charge of like the overall organizing the three companies that are working on this thing. He's just like, they're all booing, and he's just like making this like face like, it's not my fault.
Yeah, you can definitely tell he's like, oh, sorry. But yeah, I'm super hyped for that game. That's gonna be hopefully sweet.
I am
Right off
too, but then also again, like I said earlier, burned by EA. Burned. They. My hand is a crisp because of EA. I don't fucking touch EA. I don't know, man. Like I like the idea. I want to play it. It sounds cool. It can. And the first one looked beautiful. This one I can only imagine looks better, but EA. I just wish that it was anybody other than EA.
Unfortunately, I mean, but people need to vote with their dollars when it comes to this shit, and I think a lot did when it came to the Star Wars Battlefront because like I had that pre-ordered when it came out, played the beta, and fucking canceled that shit, and then I didn't buy it until a year later when it was $40 and I could get all the shit. So.
Oh, you also should have seen how upset Aaron was that he didn't win a PlayStation 4. Because I guess like if you reach under your seat right now, you get this exclusive PlayStation 4 that we only have 4 of, and the 2 of you here will get them. And everybody's like flipping their fucking chairs over and everything. And Aaron's like, no, didn't win the PlayStation 4.
That's not what I said. I said, Cuba, you picked the wrong seats, you dick.
Right, he's blaming me. We're pretty close. Yeah. But oh yeah, because this is fun. This is part of the fun story. Mister making fun of me for a fucking month or more because I'm not going dressed up. I didn't bring anything to cosplay in. He dresses as Darth Vader that fucking Saturday. He can't. And look, Roy, you there?
I'm listening.
Because you will validate this. You know that I do not like to give this kid credit for anything. Is that correct?
Of course.
Okay, yes. So
Half the time, and even a good half of the time, he probably might deserve a small amount. You still withhold it.
absolutely, I do not like him. I don't. Despite what people think, I don't like him. I don't like him at all.
That's all.
So I don't like giving him credit. But
You're Ray Waldorf to whatever the fuck the goddamn
up,
Muppets.
you.
Okay, we got a picture
Shut
of that.
up,
You
you.
piece of shit.
So to his credit, his Darth Vader costume was probably one of the top 3 Vader costumes that I saw all weekend there.
$600 or $700 that he spent, and better be.
Yeah, well spent.
And I'm gigantic.
The only better one was a Vader costume where the the mask was made to look like the Rebels cartoon, where it was like a little more angular, like the Ralph McQuarrie art, and had like the red tinted lenses. So that was a cool one. And then the other one was epic fucking Vader except he didn't have the mask on and he had burnt Anakin head.
That's cool. I was actually thinking about. I'm looking through the Skype and I'm seeing like when Aaron furrows his brow. I was like, dude, if you just like started there and did that scar that he has that goes all the way back to the back of his head, it just totally do that.
It's funny because we went to Target and I bought the Hasbro Black Series Darth Vader Rebels helmet, like the little one, the little die-cast one.
Oh yeah, I like those. Those are cool.
Because I want to make that helmet because my Darth Vader costume is like 10 years old now, so it's getting ratty. I want to like kind of revamp it a little bit, and I want to try and make that Rebels helmet. But Courtney found the pop vinyl figure where it's Vader without the top half, and so you see the bald head and the scar, and she's like, "Ooh, do you think like for the next like Comic-Con I could do my Lady Vader, but have like the scar and so
she already has like the half-shaved head."
Exactly. So she's like, "I'll shave my head like super short, and then I'll add like a scar down it." I'm like, "That's pretty sweet. That'd be cool."
How is that? How is that somehow hot? with her,
she's not unattractive, so of course she's gonna make it hot. It's like
I know, but I'm just thinking of like the purple, like the white purple pasty makeup with the scar. I'm like, how does she make that work? It doesn't make sense.
The cosplay we saw there, that people make anything work. But like I said, I don't like giving this kid credit. He had one of the top 3 Vader costumes, period, that I saw the all 3 days. He couldn't go 5 feet without getting stopped for pictures, and he's making fun of me before we get there for a good solid month. Oh, you're gonna feel so awkward walking around not wearing anything. You're gonna be the only one not wearing anything. That's a lie. Because there's plenty of people that weren't wearing shit.
You could have took the stormtrooper.
Yeah, and sweat my balls off. So the Saturday when he wore it was the day that we got up the earliest to get there. We got there. He ran way ahead of us to get his fucking bracelets to get into the panels, and then we caught
Kylo
up.
Ren stepdaughter.
and then he went back to the car, dressed up as Vader, went and then came back, handed out the fucking sunglass things. Then we it was like maybe 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock at that point, maybe.
So hold on, did you actually hand out sunglasses as Darth Vader?
Yeah,
he did.
And people still weren't coming up to you?
Well, they did at that point.
Yeah, well, it's Vader.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say, what the fuck?
So
it was just when I was white man, a white man.
I after you took that fucking costume off at the end of a hot Florida day, I would not want to be in the room when you.
That's the best part of my story. It was only about 8:30 in the morning. We went to go get breakfast before our panel at 11 o'clock, and we're standing in line to get some food. And he's like, he lifts his helmet. He's literally just dripping sweat, and he goes, "I think I need to go change." I'm like, "It's fucking 8:30 in the morning, you goddamn motherfucking cocksucking piece of shit! You're making fun of me, and you want to leave before the fucking convention even opens. An hour and a half before the fucking thing opens, you want to take off this goddamn Darth Vader costume."
Well, the thing was so my boots, the boots I have.
Wow, my boot put a hole in my foot. There was people in full-on Stormtrooper, Mandalorian, Wookiee costumes that were there all fucking day. All day long. You know what kind of blisters and swass they got? You fucking pussy piece of shit.
Yeah, I wouldn't even wanted to be on the same floor when he cracked that costume on. It would have took it off. Would have smelled like just a leather wrapped foot and balls. Just
He sat through the panel and then he went to go change. But man, dude, I'm telling you, if he kept that costume on, he could have gotten, that would have been your pass more than the exhibitor pass. I guarantee you, if you tried, you could have gotten into that Slave Leia photo shoot if you wanted to.
I walked by it going like, "Put some clothes on. You're dressed like a hussy."
My only complaint about Aaron's costume, it looks great in the pictures, but you need to invest in just a hilt for a lightsaber, so you don't have to carry around the whole thing with the blade.
Yeah, I mean, I had the actual hilt because the one that Cuba broke from swinging it. I have just the hilt.
I didn't break it.
The thing I need is a hook for my belt to hook it on.
Yeah,
that's
you
fucking
just
easy.
get like a set of D rings or something, so you don't even have to take it off. Just
Yeah.
it would look much cooler, like instead of tucking
I
away
have-
like a samurai sword.
So I'm gonna have it, and it's like the official like heavy metal one, so it looks good. I just need the hook.
But man,
Yeah, just
there's the main entrance of the building was where all the cosplayers were hanging out and taking pictures and doing all sorts of stupid, silly shit. Aaron could have spent a day there from dusk till dawn if he stayed in his Darth Vader costume. Yeah, dude,
Yeah.
talking
Well-
about the cosplay, dude, there's some fucking great cosplay. I mean, I didn't even get half of it, and then looking at pictures and YouTube videos, I didn't even see half of it. And on especially on Saturday when you were at the Hasbro panel and doing a couple other things, I ran away from you. I said, "Fuck this guy," and let's go. Let's just walk around. Let's do our own thing.
Which is ridiculous because the Hasbro panel, like the podcast is about modern retro, like old is new again, and the Hasbro panel was all about old is new again. They showed like, if you go to the Facebook, I posted all the pictures from their presentation, but it was like all the old toys that they never officially got to come out with because they had found a folder from the original guy at Kenner who was designing all these, and he was on the panel. And he had all these illustrations, all these mock-ups with like foam core board, and all these actual toys, photography of toys we never got to see. So like a dual cockpitted X-wing, the actual clone troopers, what they were gonna go with, some great shit. And then they started talking about the Black Series. So the guy that I know at Hasbro, I ran into him at a Target looking for a lightsaber, and it turns out he is the head designer for the Black Series figures. So I'm like, fuck. So he's going into all the new toys that are coming out. They're coming out with a Jaina Solo that looks amazing.
It does look sweet, Roy. She's got the
like if
Han
you-
smirk.
She does.
I know.
They-
I saw it with her purple lightsaber and everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks awesome. They're coming out with a sweet Thrawn in the package. Like has the Thrawn and it opens up and it looks like his room and it has all like these cool art.
It's like a
fixtures and-
$60. I think it was like $60 for that Thrawn Black Series.
Yeah.
It's
All the Black Series stuff that they're coming out with, like Rey's speeder, like you can open up and it's almost like those books that show the mechanics of Star Wars.
Oh wow!
Yeah, so it's super detailed. So all those figures are going to be amazing. But then they also announced, because back in the day, you know how they used to come up with like all the toys of all the different aliens and like the Cantina aliens that you don't see that anymore. You don't see the detail in all the little micro characters in the toys, like represented in toys anymore.
Yeah.
They announced a vintage collection, and it's going to be like the Black Series, only it's going to be all that shit. So it's going to be all the all new redesigns of those characters and all the movies going forward.
So it'll be
It's
like all the
got,
tertiary characters, like the random, like the Max Rebo band and all that shit, like just random. That's cool. I like that.
the
It's
guy
doing
on
all,
Cloud
like, little-
City running around with the ice cream maker.
you know, like
I saw like 5 of those dudes cosplaying also.
Like this panel was right up Modern Retro Cast's alley. Like,
And
we
I'm
could've live
glad that
streamed this
1/3
shit.
of Modern Retrocast made it to it. But you know what? I had to take a fucking break from you. God damn it.
your footballs, your ball and foot smelling leather ass.
Oh,
That
speaking
costume.
of ball and foot smelling leather ass, on our way back, dude, and I'm glad I didn't get to experience it, but I'm sure Courtney did. So you had you ate a fucking you ate some nasty shit on the way back. We stopped at
God damn it.
like what's it called? It's Steak and Shake or something like that. It's like a
Yeah.
burger. It's like a southern burger joint. So you had like the Meat Lovers burger, which was like a burger stuffed with bacon, stuffed with a hot dog, stuffed with cheese, right?
Yeah.
And a bunch of
Lost me at the hot dog, but you had me up the soda.
and a bunch
It's basically
of French fries.
a junkyard
that
dog or whatever.
They're like a bunch of French fries, like legit, just greasy, smelly, generic French fries.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So
They were fresh.
so like maybe 4 hours later, after eating that, this dude has, what was it again? A buffalo steak and cheese from a Wawa.
It was a buffalo and cheese. So
Yeah. So we got home about 2 a.m. that day. Thankfully, his ass didn't fucking leak. But at some point that's a toxic mixture. Did you just like gas bomb your house? Did all your plants die?
No, I woke up at 2 in the morning and I took a crap, but it was one of those ones where you have to rock back and forth and pray to God, take off your shirt. You're just like, oh my God, I'm gonna die.
Don't rip me in half, please.
I hate those. The sweat. No,
Cold sweats.
I was gonna say the shit where you feel really cold. You've got goosebumps, but you've also got a hot sweat on your forehead for some reason.
You're trying to shit, but only pee's coming out.
You're actually shivering, and then you start to shit, and it's like you're shitting through a straw and not even touching the sides. Oh, goddamn.
It just burns.
Yeah, so
it just singes your ass hairs.
That's
Dude,
how it happens.
Are we telling shit stories now? Because
No.
No.
Okay, I was gonna say I had an experience at my kid's softball field the other day. Early this week.
No, stop.
That's
ran.
enough. This is road trip shits.
This was a softball field shit, and let me tell you, it was not happy. It was after some chicken Mozambique, and it just, it was a mess. I ran out of there like I committed a crime. Moving on, I'll tell that story some other time.
So that was Saturday. Sunday was the only really big good panel was Mark Hamill as himself, and it looked like they actually figured out all their mistakes in the security, and we woke up at 5 to go and get the.
You woke up at 5.
Me,
I slept
Courtney,
in. I'm like,
and
nope,
Dakota,
fuck this.
Woke up early to go try and get those wristbands. We probably could have, but they wouldn't let us in the door like they used to. Like we waved it, and they're like, "Oh, you know."
Yeah, they said
like,
you're too early for exhibitors.
Yeah. I'm like, fuck you. I was like, why does no security guard know what the fuck they're doing here? Like,
yeah, that is all right. So that's one big complaint about Celebration was that internally security was a fucking mess. Like they locked certain doors and didn't have access to them. And you're like, I'm an exhibitor. They're like, oh, I'm sorry, the door's locked, but I can't open it. That's like, okay. So like when you were changing as Darth Vader, because it was so early, we didn't eat and we rushed and everything. My daughter wasn't feeling good, so I tried to get her breakfast, but the line was just stupid. So I'm like, let's go outside, get you some fresh air. We go outside, and then she started feeling better. Go back in, and then I have to cut the line of everybody again. I had to flag down the big lady who was the head of security and be like, hey, I'm an exhibitor. So she got me through the metal detector and everything without the stupid bag check and everything. And but instead of just like letting me walk where I wanted to, she was like, all right, come on, follow me. I'm like, okay. And she's like, all right, go. The exhibitors are that way. Go. One of the people down there will let you in through the doors into the exhibitor hall. I'm like, all right, fine, whatever. I'll loop around. So I go down there and I'm like, yeah, exhibitor badge. And she's like, oh, I'm sorry, the doors are locked. I'm like, yeah, but your boss just said that you'd let me in. She's like, oh, I don't have the key. The doors are locked. Try the next section. I'm like, okay. Go over to the next section. Oh, and I'm like, hey, exhibitor. And then the person goes, oh, I just shut the door and it's locked. I'm like, God fucking damn it. So I go to the next section. And that person goes, no, exhibitors don't come here. Exhibitors are halls A, B, and C. I'm like at hall G. And I'm like, fuck you, motherfucker. So I walk all the way down to halls A, B, and C. And that's where the cafes and little food places where we've been eating most of the time are there. There's also a food court, which in like the main area, which it just sucks and super huge line. So we get down to that area. It's too early for those places to be open. And I'm like, so I go, okay, can I get in over here? Exhibitor badge. And the person goes, no, exhibitors enter down that way. I'm like, everyone down that way, just send me down this way. And they're like, well, I don't know what they're talking about. I'm like, God damn you. So I see people coming down the escalators with coffee, and I know there's a cafe up on the second floor, and I asked the wrong old man, and I said to this guy who looked confused, who's a security guard, and I said, hey, is the cafe up there open? He goes, what are you trying to do? I'm like, is the cafe open to get up to the second level? Is this cafe open up there? He goes, where are you trying to go? I'm like, look, I'm an exhibitor. Is the fucking breakfast place up there open? He goes, there's a food court. I know there's a fucking food court. Is the cafe open? He goes, where are you trying to go? And I didn't say a word. I turned around and walked back the other way. I'm like, fuck you, old man. And I saw him later after it opened. And Roy, I should have taken a picture. imagine being 75 years old, not knowing what Star Wars is, and you work at a convention center, and suddenly the last 2 days have been full of very weird people in weird costumes. The face you are probably picturing in your head, this guy was making as I walked by him later on in the day. He was just looking at everybody with his jaw open, and he was like darting his head back and forth like a confused dog.
Well, that's because he's looking at all the Star Wars fans in the same way that we would look when we look around at people at a furry convention. You know what I mean? Just not comprehensible.
Yeah, I will say
what
that
the fuck is going on?
the celebration was very disappointing. I've been to like San Diego Comic-Con, which is very like they have the shit down pat, but I guess this celebration used a new company.
Tops put this on. From what I understand, this is their first time putting it on,
and it shows. There was the security was terrible. No one knew what the fuck they were doing. But also the actual panels and things that. So the vendor floor was sparse. Like they had the usual stuff like the Hasbros and the Rubies and things of that nature. So it had a variety, but it wasn't stock full. Like you could have fit
quality,
at least like
though.
7.
I'd say for the most
it
part,
was
the
quality
vendors
stuff
was quality.
for sure. But they could have had like a lot more. They could have fit a lot more. Maybe like had some competition in there a little bit. But also the panels themselves. So there was 2 major panels a day, and they were always sold out because there wasn't any variance. Like Cuba said, no one knew that John Williams was going to have a concert. Like they should have had him, having a panel talking about the music, or the actual guy who composed the Rogue One soundtrack.
I get the
doing
having
a panel.
surprise things. I just think they weren't on point with the wristbands. People didn't know that you needed a wristband, and then if they did know, they only thought it was for certain ones, not everything. So there's people that went there with. Yes, they limited it to 2 wristbands at a time.
A day.
Yeah. No, not a day. You could go to 1 in the morning, get another wristband if it was still available, and replace that wristband. You just take off that one. But
you couldn't get into 3 lines and have 3 wristbands. So it was like, the fuck.
All right, so question. All right, so the way this works is that you've got basically it's in one building, right?
Very, very large building, yes.
A very large building, okay. So, and you've got a main open area with several, we'll say, rooms or halls or whatever, where they're doing these panels or whatever it is.
No.
So, okay, well, I've never been, so I don't know what it is.
So there's like the main. Yeah, there's the main vendor floor. It had the vendors, like the main sponsored vendors, flea market collectible vendors, certain exhibits, autograph section, the Star Wars show live stage, and the official store and the food court. It was all in this one big section. But then outside of that were different hallways on 2 different levels with various rooms that had other smaller panels and other exhibits in them. And then up on the 3rd level was theater rooms where the main stage was, and then other stages where they broadcast the main stage panels too.
Okay. Now, it's possible to have gone and actually not been able to see any of those panels and discussions and stuff like that if you didn't get these wristbands?
Not live.
The
you
major
could watch
ones.
them. You could stream them live on StarWars.com as they were going. Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
I mean since you're there.
Oh, right.
Yeah,
Well,
Yeah.
they had like
there.
smaller ones, like the Hasbro one didn't need wristbands, like the smaller ones that didn't
Yeah, but the
require.
Hasbro one was like in a room as opposed to the theater room where the main panels were.
Okay,
Yeah.
because I'm just thinking that if, say, I went myself and I didn't have the foresight or the thought to get any of these wristbands before everybody else got them, and they were effectively in a way sold out, then I wouldn't have been able to see any of those things, right?
You'd be shit out of luck. There was a lot of people that went there
that's
with
kinda
kids
bullshit.
on Saturday and Sunday, weren't aware of the wristband things, and and they couldn't get into any panels. Even more bullshit, or I guess another side of bullshit, was the store was the lines for the store. So I guess there's a stories of people that would spend 2 hours in line for the official store. So Aaron's wearing a T-shirt that he paid fucking $32 for that says 40th anniversary, and I like the 40th anniversary logo. It looks cool. I left there. I didn't buy a thing for myself because everything was jacked up by $10 or more. I'm sorry. I'm not spending $32 on a fucking T-shirt. I bought my kid a T-shirt in the official store with R2 and BB-8, and it said Star Wars 40th anniversary or Star Wars celebration on it. That was $21. I'm like, that's fucking way too much for a fucking T-shirt. So I didn't leave with anything. I didn't buy. I'm like, I'll if I want anything, I'll buy it all secondhand or whatever. But for the official store, there was people that spent. Yeah, like I said, we were there all weekend, so we got to do and see a lot more things, and still left feeling like we didn't see and do anything.
Yeah, like
so
at the end of Saturday, we looked on Instagram and like we're seeing all these photos of all these things that happened. I'm like, are we even going to the same convention?
Absolutely, it was so vast, so much to see. But there was people that only paid for one day, and like you said, Roy, if you paid for one day, you didn't know, like we didn't know the first day. So all right, you wanted to see a panel, you didn't get that wristband. It's like fuck. All right, let's go get something cool at the store to commemorate this time. There's people that spent 2 hours in line to get into the store, and then if they whatever they wanted, if it wasn't sold out, if they're lucky enough to find it, they get it. Then they spent 2 to 3 hours in the checkout line. So that's 5 hours of your fucking day that you spent in line at one place. So
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, that and I had fun. I seriously don't know if I would do it again without some sort of pass to skip lines.
Yeah, specialty something.
Yeah,
or other.
if we can
once you have the taste of the privilege.
Yeah, if we can get a media pass, if we can get a vendor's pass, I love Star Wars, but I'm not spending $700 on a VIP pass. That's just not happening.
See, Cuba, with that taste of privilege, now you know what it feels like to be white. All this white privilege we soak in.
This is the glory.
See, if we're white, we don't even need passes. We just go.
Just walk in and they hand me some
I got this
funny
wine
like
and
that what is it, the music panel or whatever, where we were waiting to get up and Pablo Hidalgo walked by, went up the escalator, and we're trying to get up the escalator.
Courtney didn't even notice. We're like, tap it, it's Pablo.
So yeah, they wouldn't let us up the escalator, but we're like, the escalator across the frickin' auditorium is letting everyone up, you son of a bitch. Like, let us up. We're here.
We're like flagging our badges. We're like, to the dude's credit, I get it. He doesn't know what's going on. He's not gonna risk letting us up. He doesn't know who the fuck we are. But it's like, look, they're letting everybody up over there. We have special badges. This goes to the same place fucking faster. We're supposed to be able to get there ahead of all these goddamn people. Let us up. And he's like, oh man, sorry, I'm just doing what they said.
So I'm like, fuck this. So I go over to the other line.
Like a character from the Boondocks.
I just held up my pass.
He looked like a
and
character
just walked
from the
right
Boondocks.
in.
He was wearing sunglasses indoors.
So I like held up my pass. I walked right into the line and got right up the escalator. Some guy comes up to me in the actual panel room. He's like, does your pass like let you skip lines? I was like, I don't know. It's a special exhibitor sponsor thing, so maybe, or it's because I'm 6'6" and no one's gonna fuck with me.
You don't say I don't know. You say yeah, I'm a sponsor.
I said I think so.
Well, like the people at the Mandalorian Merc booth, we questioned them like about the exhibitor badges on the first day. We're like, how do these work? And they're like, honestly, we're not sure. Just walk like you have purpose, and most people won't question you.
Like a true Mandalorian. That was good advice.
Yeah, no, it worked for the most part, especially when you're frustrated and you're just like, there's a couple of times where I was just fucking pissed and just stressed out. And I'm walking, and I see a hand going up, and I just fucking hold my thing up. I grab my daughter's hand, because even the kids have the exhibitor badges, and I just fucking hold my thing up, and I don't even stop. I barreled through those fucking people. They don't stop me at all.
You never surrender your forward momentum.
Absolutely. Yep.
So, all in all, it was a fun experience. But yeah, they definitely should have had more panels, better better organization.
And in line for coffee, a very, very long coffee line, I heard people behind me talking, some Celebration veterans. And look, we're not trying to shit on Celebration. This is our first Celebration, and we're just telling it how it is. I had a good time, and but it had its troubles. So I listened to these people behind me. The woman behind me had been to like the last 5, and then like the guy behind me who she was talking to had been to 4. He didn't go to London, and she had been to London, which was the last one, I think. But they're listening to them. They were saying how this was like the most unorganized one. How the other ones they didn't do the wristband shit. The panels were later in the day, so people didn't have to camp out and rush and get there. They could enjoy half the day before the main panels started. And I don't know what the fuck that was.
You got ghosts.
I have a cat. That's what that was. So it was interesting to hear people who have been to a lot of these, to hear them complaining about it. And the lady said that after the first day, it did start getting a little better. And like I said, they sent out an apology on day 2, so they even understood that they kind of fucked up. But just internally with the convention hall, the security was a mess. The employees didn't know what was going on. The people who worked for Celebration had a better idea, I guess. We got better answers where things were, how to do things out of them. But when it came to the people who ran the building, they had no fucking idea.
Yeah, see, here's the problem, though, is that when you're spending that much money to get there, to get in, to do all this, to do all that, your expectations are high. You want your service. You guys, and I don't like using this term a whole lot, but you guys deserved to get into certain shit. You deserve to know. I'd hate to even know what the total was of all the money spent for both of your like respective families put together to go to this fucking trip. It's got to be several $1,000s just to get there and experience it. I mean, I'm with you guys. I wasn't even there, and I'm already like, God damn, fuck that shit. Fuck these people.
I mean, it wasn't. We kind of did it the right way. We drove there.
Yeah, we did it as cheaply as we possibly could. We stayed in Airbnb, which I am a huge fan now of Airbnb. I don't think I'll stay in a hotel again because the Airbnb was so great.
Well, the thing is with the hotel, like the perks of the hotel is like you're probably right next to the convention. You can wake up at 5, just walk across the street, get your shit, come back.
Yeah, if you stayed at the Radisson Inn that was attached to the fucking building for $700 a night, no thank you.
Yeah.
Well, here's the thing:
with our Airbnb, we drove like 20 minutes to get there. So I mean, it wasn't terrible, and it was definitely a lot cheaper. So
and we got the same parking lot every time, which was $10 parking. You can't even park in Boston for $10.
Yeah.
Nope.
They had people holding up signs saying like exclusive line starts here, and then like you couldn't get in line after a certain point because they'd be out of their shit. It was crazy. It was absolutely crazy.
People go crazy for merch.
Yeah, shit.
No.
Yeah.
So
I don't get it. I don't spend that much money on stuff around here. Never mind overpriced stuff that you could probably get on Amazon, anyways.
Yeah, no, I didn't buy anything exclusive. I bought Liz a pair of Chewbacca socks. I bought Ben a Jabba the Hutt plushie, and I bought Kylie a Tauntaun plushie, and I probably spent $30 on all of that. I
was gonna say $1,200.
God, I spent $80 on pins.
Yeah, you fucking crazy son
what
of a
are you
bitch.
doing with your life?
This kid spent so much money. I don't know, man. I'm cheap. I love Star Wars, but I cannot spend $30 on a T-shirt. There was some great prints. There's some great art. That was the only thing I almost spent money on was the art. But then again, it wasn't exclusive. I took their business cards. I can buy it online. I can buy it directly from them. So there wasn't anything there that I'm like, I need to buy here because I'll never be able to get it again. Anything that was like that, I'm like, well, that's just too much fucking money. I can't justify spending that. So
yeah, you can.
That was one cool thing. I met the artist. That have you ever seen that famous painting with Boba Fett and it's just his visor and in the reflection you see
Oh yeah,
Han
yeah,
Solo
and
yeah,
Carbonite.
yeah. That's cool.
The artist was there,
There's a lot of good
selling awareness.
artists there. Yeah.
I've actually
And
got that on a t-shirt.
Yeah, I was like, hey, I have your painting as my car shade. Like,
It was good. It was a good time. So, Roy, do you have any follow up questions as we end this
Yeah.
Star Wars Celebration spectacular?
Let's see. For each of you, I got a feeling I already know Cuba's answer, but Aaron's kind of not sure. Your favorite event or panel or whatever you had that you saw there, and then your least favorite. Not least favorite thing as far as like experience with like the security and all that stuff, but what something you were really, really excited for that you saw, something that you really liked as your favorite, and then something that, take it or leave it. Aaron, go.
So my favorite, I think, was the music of Rogue One. That like was eye opening and informative. I had like, it brought information I didn't previously have, and then it enriched my viewing experience for future viewings. My least favorite, I'd say, was the Rebels panel. I expected a little bit more from that panel.
I saw the hurt in Cuba's eyes just then.
Like I love Rebels, and I mean, just an announcement of that it's the last season. That was sad, but I would have liked to have maybe seen what's next. They had mentioned in the previous Star Wars Celebration that Dave Filoni had handed out like a pin to everyone who attended that panel, and you could go online and get like production artwork and see that shit. So it was kind of lackluster. I mean, I got to see an episode 8 months before everyone else, but what's that going to bring me?
You ungrateful son of a bitch.
Cuba, what about you, buddy?
Let's see. My favorite thing, panel-wise, it's a toss-up between the Rebels panel and the Heroines of Star Wars panel. Those were both really good panels. I enjoyed them very much. So, honestly, my favorite thing of the whole convention, and it's probably my favorite thing of any convention, was just hanging out in the main lobby area and watching the cosplay madness. Just the costumes that people had and the things that people were doing were so much fun. I could sit there probably all 3 days in like one area and just be completely amused by all the happenings going on there. That's probably the most fun for me, more than any panel, I think. And then my least favorite panel, I guess, was the Battlefront one. Mostly because I'm not going to buy the game, at least not for a very long time. And the trailer was leaked on the way there. Like I think the Tuesday that or the Wednesday that we were on the road heading to Celebration, I went on, I think it was either Facebook or Instagram, and I saw the trailer, and I'm like, well, fuck, that panel's ruined. So, yeah, I was like, okay. And don't get me wrong, the enthusiasm of the people behind the game was great. It was great to see that, but just overall, I'm like, well, that's a panel I could have done without.
All right. Well, it sounds like you guys had a pretty good time, tinged with a little bit of yearning for more, wishing there was more of something of that sort, I guess. But it sounds like you guys had an overall good time.
Yeah, it was a good time. I mean, Aaron's selfish, I guess. He definitely yearns for more. I was happy. It had its problems. I was happy with how it was, what we got. It was just, like I said, it was so vast that I feel, and it's not a complaint about Celebration. I feel like we didn't get to see everything, and we didn't because it's so much. For all of its shortcomings, there was a lot packed into this fucking thing. There's so much that we wanted to see, couldn't get to, forgot to get to, got distracted by something else. So there definitely was no lack of content to this. Just the organization could have been better.
Oh, it sounds like there's a lot of cool
I'm selfish.
stuff.
Like, I've been to San Diego Comic-Con, so I kind of have that reference as like that's the mecca of all geekdom. for the range of geekdom. Every panel, there were so many panels there that it was insane. But every panel that you went into had relevant giveaway stuff. So like immediately walking into the door, it'd be like, have this cool T-shirt.
But again, you're being so materialistic. You just want stuff. Gimme, 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 gimme. Just enjoy the experience.
Again, you enjoy the experience, but it's also like now you get to walk away with a piece of it and be like, okay, like I got to see this, and now I get to show that I got to see this.
See, this is the difference between me and you. If like my house burns down, it's like I have my memories and my experiences. It's like, okay, I'll grab a photo album or a backup drive that has all my pictures in it. If your house burns down, you're gonna cry about all the material toys that you fucking lost.
Well, I mean, I still have a T-shirt from 2008, that San Diego Comic-Con, for the True Blood panel. It's a T-shirt that says "Friends don't let friends drink friends." Like, but every time I look at it, it's just a T-shirt, but I'm like, oh, I remember that time. That was a good time.
Yeah, but you need the T-shirt to remind you of the time.
It brings back the nostalgia feelings.
You can always take a picture of your family, Cuba. You can't, but that limited edition, unopened, still in the box toy, you're not going to get another one.
Still in the box family.
I mean, a T-shirt. Like people give away T-shirts for everything. You can go down to the Boston Marathon and get a T-shirt. People are shooting them out of cannons everywhere you go. I feel that it's almost like you're $1 billion fucking franchise. You couldn't even spring for just like giving away T-shirts for like that just say Rebels or something on it. Come on.
Well, maybe next time after they get it after this year and they've figured out their shit. But the next one coming up is the Boston Comic-Con. I think me and you are going on Saturday. Roy, I don't know if you bought your ticket or if you're going at all, but you should.
No, nobody said anything to me, but it's okay. I know. I'm just not part of the cool guy crew.
Yeah, it was on our group message like 3 weeks ago. You saw
I
it.
know. I'm sure it.
For the Boston one, we were talking about it.
When is it?
It's all good.
When is it? It's sometime in August. I don't know. There's a few cons coming up, but that I want to get this podcast into the Boston one. It's not going to happen this year, but hopefully the following year, once we just kind of keep growing, and we keep growing by listeners.
Might be able to.
No, but we keep growing by listeners, by you guys, like you. That I want to give a little shout out to Superfan Mike. He sent us a nice email yesterday talking about our last episode, Nostalgia Goggles. And he brought up Thunderbirds, if anybody remembers that one. It's kind of like it's the old show from the 60s with the marionettes that the South Park guys parodied in Team America, World Police.
Oh, nice.
And he said kind words about that episode in this podcast. So again, thank you, Mike, for always listening. Thank you, everybody else who is always listening. We are on iTunes and anywhere and everywhere that you can possibly listen to podcasts. I've just thrown us out there like a big fishing net. So if you are if you're on Apple products, if you're on Google products, if you're on phone, laptop, tablets, we are wherever you want to listen to. We're also on YouTube. We have a is it a not T Fury? What's a T-shirt thing, Aaron?
T-Public.
There's so many T things that's there, and you can check it all out on our website. It's modernretrocast.com. You can email us anything you'd like at modernretrocast@gmail.com. We are now on Instagram. I highly suggest you go check out our Instagram. A lot of the pictures from Celebration are on Instagram as Instagram stories. I always neglect Twitter, but we're on Twitter. Forget the Twitter and really go over to the Instagram and the Facebook because those are kind of our primary things. We have a lot of things coming up, like I had mentioned in a previous episode. We got a Doctor Who episode coming up that I'm organizing. And there's going to be some more surprises. I believe we got our own mystery box that will be coming soon for you to win. So keep an eye out on that one.
Head over to YouTube as well. We're going to have some videos, more videos coming up. We just have Cuba's interview, get to know us at the podcast. Roy's interview just landed last Wednesday. And mine will be coming up shortly.
People liked Roy, apparently. even if they were
I know,
spam.
You got the most views. No, they weren't spam. It was like great video and.
No, I had to
saw the
approve. I had to
comments.
approve the comments because they were likely spam. It said.
Oh,
Hey, I'll take what I can get. Come on, man.
Absolutely.
I don't
Hey,
just-
spam is good. Spam is spam. Anyways, thanks for listening, guys. This has been an extra long one, and I was just so excited for Celebration. If you went to Celebration, and we missed you there, why don't you give us your experience? Tell us what you thought. Tell us what you saw. Post what you thought. Share with us on Instagram or anywhere else that we are. Have a good night, guys. Enjoy. See you later.
Have a good night.